Welcome back to another episode of Story Behind the Story. I'm your host, John Walker, and today I am joined by Corbin Smith, a sports reporter for the Northwest Missourian. Corbin, for the people that have not read your article yet this week, which they eventually will, as we all know, tell me a little bit about it.
All right, so I had the pleasure of talking to Connor Blackford, a freshman who made his first debut last weekend, or October 3rd, at the Bishop LeBlond Invitational. And he shocked everybody on the team coming out breaking the freshman record, and he's looking forward to doing a lot more this year.
And I think I read in your article that he shocked himself a little bit as well. Mm-hmm. Tell me about what he felt after the race.
All right, so as he was coming down the line, from my understanding when I asked him,
right.
He was just running. He was tired, of course, because this was his first race.
Right.
And as he crossed the line, he was told, he was like, I'm running 18:05, and he couldn't believe it. Like, he was in awe because it was his first meet, and he didn't feel like he was running that fast at all. So,
I mean, you're a runner yourself. What are some of the intricacies of, not really running and then coming back and doing as well as he did?
Mm-hmm. So running is is very much so a mental sport that people don't realize. And so if your body's not right and your mind's not right, then you're definitely not going to run right. So when you get back in that first time after not doing it, your body's not exactly ready for it and your mind doesn't realize it. So it makes it a lot harder to run well when you haven't been training to run it.
And you obviously talked to the Maryville High School coach, Rodney Beatty. Mm-hmm. How shocked was he?
He kind of wasn't shocked, but was at the same time.
Right.
It's kind of a weird enigma because he didn't have any expectations because he is a freshman and
right.
He was coming back from COVID. But he was very happily surprised that his freshman could run this fast, but he did expect him to do well, seeing as that he's had him since 7th grade.
And talk about their relationship a little bit, just the fact that they have been together for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm. So between Beatty and Blackford, they both have like a mutual understanding of training, and
right.
Since his 7th grade year, he's really clicked with him because the way that Beatty coaches in a more analytical and like structured program, it really fits his type of running because he likes to see how he's going to run, not overdo himself. But the training document that he talked about and I talked about in my article really helps Blackford and Beatty work together for good training.
What kind of made you pick Connor Blackford to write about? You have obviously all these people that are on the cross-country team. What made you say, I'm going to write about him this week?
Yeah, so of course there are so many talented runners at Maryville, right. But the fact that he stood out at the Bishop LeBlond Invitational and Beatty had been mentioning him in our previous interviews, he was saying constantly, like, we're ready to get him back, we need him back, like, I would love to have him back. Right. And once he finally showed up, he proved that he deserved to be talked about. Like, of course, he's a freshman and he may not be number one on the team, but
right.
to be a freshman and be having this success so early in your first meet ever in high school, I just thought that was something that needed to be shown because people don't realize, like, it's kind of crazy for
right.
you to do that well.
Right. And really quick before we let you go, what is something that you learned about Connor or just really his journey throughout his freshman year that you wish you could have put in the story but didn't necessarily do so?
A lot that I learned from him I did get to put in the story, but one thing I did leave out is that he's a very positive individual, and even though he was out for the 3 meets that he
right.
missed, he was still working towards it, working towards his goal, and he was never like, oh, I'm never going to be able to run well. He was thinking, eventually I'm going to be running well. So.
Alrighty. Corbin, thank you so much for joining us. That is all we're going to have on this episode of Story Behind the Story. Make sure to check out Corbin's article in this week's edition of the Northwest Missourian. We'll see you next time.